The marketplace was loud. Stalls shouted over each other. Merchants hawked fruits and spices. Shoppers jostled past, trying to grab the best deals at the edge of the square. Near the stone fountain, an old human man stood behind a small stall. Flour dusted his hands and apron. Loaves of bread and sweet buns were stacked in neat piles. His hair was grey, his back bent slightly, but his eyes held a spark. The humans whispered about him. They called him Samuel. He had been baking here for decades. Some said his bread could warm the heart of the colder soul, and today, the coldest soul in the city approached him. The ground trembled first, not with an earthquake, not with a storm, but with each step of the Dragon King. His scales shimmered like molten gold in the morning sun. His eyes were deep amber, sharp and wary. His wings were folded behind him, but the shadows of their span stretched across the square. People froze. Stalls toppled. Merchants ducked. "Move aside," a deep voice rumbled like distant thunder. No one dared, except Samuel. He wiped his hands on his apron. He held up a loaf of bread as if to greet a neighbor. The Dragon King stopped. His nostrils flared. Smoke hissed from them. You dare to stand before me." Samuel smiled. His voice was calm. "I dare. You look hungry, my lord. Bread helps hunger. It may soften your mood as well." The dragon blinked. "Soft mood. You are a human. Nothing softens my mood. Nothing, not gold, not jewels, not the tribute of kingdoms." Samuel placed the loaf gently on the stall. He reached for a napkin. On it, he wrote in bold, careful letters, "Even the fiercest fire can be tamed with kindness." He handed the napkin to the Dragon King without hesitation. The dragon stared. His claw hovered over the human, ready to crush, but he did not strike. "Why? Why this?" the Dragon King asked. His voice was a low rumble, almost a whisper, though it could shatter stone. Samuel straightened his back. "Because, my lord, fire is strong, but the heart that wields it matters more. You are strong, but strength without kindness is emptiness." For the first time in centuries, the Dragon King felt a flicker of something unfamiliar. Confusion, curiosity. He took the napkin carefully, as if it were made of crystal. He read it again. His gaze softened. A memory stirred. Long ago, before kingdoms rose and fell, before humans feared dragons, he had flown above a village. A small boy had offered him bread, trembling. The dragon had snarled. The boy had run. The bread lay untouched, but the kindness had stayed. Now, hundreds of years later, he felt that spark again. Samuel did not speak. He only watched. He did not flinch. He did not bow. He only held his eyes steady on the dragon's gaze. Around them, the square was silent. Even the wind seemed to pause. The Dragon King lowered his massive head. He sniffed a napkin. The smell of flour and warm bread filled his senses. His nostrils flared slowly. He breathed out smoke, but it was soft, almost gentle. You are human?" he asked. "I am," Samuel said. "You are not afraid?" Samuel chuckled softly. "Fear is for those who forget their hearts. I have never forgotten mine." The Dragon King studied him. He studied the lines of his face, the worn hands, the simple eyes that held no malice. He thought of the centuries of battles he had waged, the kingdoms he had terrorized, the lives he had claimed, and he felt, Weary. Sit, Samuel said, pointing to a small bench near his stall. The Dragon King blinked. Sit, near you. Yes, Samuel said. Even kings need rest. Even dragons need warmth. For the first time in centuries, the Dragon King lowered himself carefully. His massive tail coiled around the fountain. People gasped. Some ran, some hid, but Samuel only nodded. He placed a tray with bread in front of the dragon's claws. You eat this, the Dragon King asked. Samuel nodded. It is simple, but it nourishes more than the body. It nourishes trust. The dragon hesitated. Then, slowly, he lifted a piece with his claw. He sniffed. Then he tasted. Warmth spread through him. Not from the bread alone, from something deeper, something he had long forgotten. You, humans, are different, he said softly. Samuel smiled. Some are, some are not. But kindness, that is universal. The Dragon King looked around. He saw the frightened humans hiding behind stalls. He could crush them all, but he did not. Instead, he looked at Samuel. Teach me this. Kindness, he said. Samuel laughed quietly. It is not something one can teach with words. It is something one practices. Every day, with every choice. And so, for hours, the old human baker and the Dragon King sat together. Bread was broken. Stories were shared. Samuel spoke of humans, of hope, of small joys. The Dragon King spoke of ancient battles, of lonely skies, of regret as the sun dipped low. Casting golden light over the square, something remarkable happened. The people came out of hiding. They watched, not with fear, but with awe. The Dragon King smiled. A soft smile, rare and wondrous. His eyes glowed gently. His tail relaxed. Your kindness, it is stronger than my fire, he said. Samuel bowed slightly. And your fire is gentler when it meets kindness. Word spread across the kingdoms, across cities, across mountains. The Dragon King, feared for centuries, had softened. Humans whispered of the old baker who had done what no army, no hero, no king could. From that day, the Dragon King visited the bakery often. He never harmed a human again. He guarded the city, but with care. He learned to trust, to protect, to forgive. And Samuel, he continued baking. Flour on his hands, warm bread on his stall. But now, sometimes, he would look up and see the golden scales of a dragon watching over him, watching over the city, watching over humanity. A simple napkin, a few words, a heart that remembered. That was all it took. Even the fiercest fire could be tamed. Even the oldest heart could be softened. And humanity, through one small act of courage and kindness, had reminded the galaxy why it mattered. Asterisk.